One of the frequently asked questions with high intensity strength training is, if I miss a workout, will I lose muscle mass? So in order for me to answer this question, I feel like I'm going to have to explain a little bit deeper how exercise and biology works. I do have 3 free PDFs down below on how you can get started today applying these principles, starting to get a whole lot more out of your workouts, whether they're at home or in a gym, or whether you just want to begin getting something out of exercise. This is the place to start. And for all ages, this is for people my age, younger or older. My older clients been 96 that we have been able to apply these high intensity strength training principles and essentially double their strength. So this video I'm actually making so I can post it in my frequently asked questions section in the 2 courses that I've developed for high intensity strength training, one at home and one in a gym setting using machines. It is very common. Over the 8 years that I've instructed this workout, this has been one of the most common things that people have either assumed and said, oh gosh, I'm going on vacation and I'm just scared I'm going to lose everything that I've gained, if they're going to be gone a few weeks. And the great news for all of y'all, if you have to take a few weeks off of a workout, is that you do not even begin to lose muscle mass until after 3 weeks. Now, there is something very serious in our modern culture, and it is a sarcopenia epidemic. What I mean by that is that people are losing muscle mass on such a grand scale, and that is responsible for the majority of premature deaths, is not having enough muscle mass on our bodies. After the age 27, we lose about a half a pound of muscle every single year of our lives. You turn the age 50 and that doubles. You start losing a whole pound of muscle every year. This eventually will deteriorate your body unless you do something to combat it. Most of my clients for the past 8 years have been in their 70s, 80s, and 90s and have seen amazing results. This is mostly for elderly people discovering that they can be twice as strong, which is absolutely incredible. But that's exactly what happens when people start properly and intensely utilizing high intensity strength training. See, for whatever reason, it's not common for people to approach exercise from a biological standpoint. It's a really common belief that exercise itself is responsible for the health benefits or the muscle growth. But no, in fact, the workout itself is actually a negative threat on the body. And if and only if that negative threat or the stimulus is intense enough or productive enough, if it's challenging enough, then the benefits can only happen if your body, the organism, is primed for the adaptive responses. If you have been getting 0 results from exercise, it's simply because what you've been doing, it isn't aligned with these principles that I'm talking about that will get you and anyone else results when it is applied properly. This is Dr. Henneman's size principle. See, your muscle fibers are naturally grouped into motor units, and motor units are recruited from smallest to largest. That means that we start using them in order from the least amount of muscle fibers in one motor unit to the largest amount of muscle fibers in one motor unit. And one motor unit can be responsible for anything to a few muscle fibers, thousands of muscle fibers. This principle itself is hinting at something without saying it out loud, and that is that if we are not reaching the moment of momentary muscular failure, if we're coming just 2 repetitions short of that, we're missing out on the majority of the muscle fibers that can be recruited. The moment where we cannot push or pull or use our muscles any further safely, that is the clinical point of momentary muscular failure. We seek to reach that point because, basically what I'm saying is that all of the benefits, the hypertrophy, that muscle growth, and all of the health benefits that are delivered via myokines, technically all of that is simply a side effect of the workout itself, which is the stimulus. This is why it's so important when doing intense exercise to rest for 3 to 4 days in between workouts, because what we're talking about is having to have that proper environment for your organism to change and adapt, and that has to be in a rested state. Things like eating enough protein come deeply into play here, because that is also another environment of the organism issue. So where if you have enough protein, then you will get that muscle growth that you're looking for. Those are really the most important two things that you can do when you're not exercising intensely, is simply allowing your body to adapt, to recover, to grow, to get those health benefits by resting, and then of course to have enough protein in your body. Aligning to the perspective of exercise simply being a biological science is what is going to help you and everybody else really get the most health benefits from exercise. What this looks like is stimulus organism response. The workout itself is a stimulus that acts upon your body to get an adaptive response. And those adaptive responses, that muscle growth, those health benefits, that is simply a side effect of that workout. Reaching the point of momentary muscular failure, we can be sure that we're getting everything that we possibly can out of exercise. If we're not reaching that point, we're leaving so much productivity on the table. People who are doing things, elderly people who are doing things like sit and be fit, need to be very wary and understand that there are no health benefits that can come from this. They will gain a little bit more limited range of motion in their joints, and that's really about it. The muscular structure is an endocrine organ itself. It's not benign tissue, and it secretes these amazing proteins when exercised intensely, called myokines. These myokines are what are responsible for all of those amazing health benefits that only some people get because they're the only people training intensely enough to get these amazing effects. The things like lowered blood pressure, lowered cholesterol. Myokines create the apoptosis, the self-destruction cycle within cancer cells. They fight dementia. They reverse osteoporosis. And I know this because my mom has been training with me for almost 8 years, has reversed her osteoporosis in a very few short years, from the worst that you can be to the very beginning stages of osteopenia with absolutely no medication alone. What this looks like on some doctors' reports would be a 22% increase in bone density, which is amazing, miraculous, but this is simply the science of modern day that we know to be true through exercise. These effects can and only happen through this intense muscular contraction. It is uncomfortable. If you were under the illusion that walking or jogging is giving you even a small portion of the benefits that you could be getting from this, let me burst this bubble, because I want to help you actually live a longer life. Scientifically, what we know beyond a shadow of a doubt, that high intensity strength training is life extension. What we're talking about here is hopefully adding another 5 years of your life, just like this amazing report, Dr. McGuff's coworker, in doubling his strength, which is very common for high intensity strength training. It is almost the exact results that everyone has gotten, that is willing to train intensely enough to get these results. What we see is amazing results, like someone with extreme emphysema, like this gentleman, getting up out of his wheelchair, not having to use it again, being able to go on cruises with his wife, not having to be seated, being able to breathe enough, because the amount of motor units that he had available to use for his normal bodily function had doubled once he doubled his strength. It's that simple, and it's science, and what we're talking about is amazing. It's life extension, and I hope that you join me on this journey to longevity, to greater health. The sooner that the world knows that these amazing results are available to them and start training this way, I hope that you live a longer life with the power of strength training.